Pakistan is broke as hell. Members of the Pakistani government or army or even the Pakistani terrorist groups are not allowed to comment under this video because don't you dare speak on money, you beggars. But the civilians of Pakistan can comment, I have no problem with them. For all my innocent subscribers, later in the video, you will know why I am blaming the Pakistani army. After the partition between India and Pakistan in 1947, Indian CEOs are ruling the world, and Pakistani CEOs like this guy, Masood Azhar, founder of Jaish-e-Mohammed, a terrorist group, are destroying the world. This is why Pakistan's economy is screwed up. Recently, a US-based journalist, Edward Luce, pointed out that the net worth of Elon Musk is more than the GDP of Pakistan. And Imran Khan, you might be a good cricket player, but under your leadership, Pakistan's economy is chest over legs, and even you, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, has to borrow or beg a private jet from another world leader to make moves, and this speaks volumes about your personality. The economic crisis of Pakistan is a deep mess. More than 60% of Pakistan's GDP is going towards interest payment of the debt, and I am only talking about the interest. I am not even considering the principal amount. Keep that in mind. According to the State Bank of Pakistan report, Imran Khan's government has borrowed around 1400 crore Pakistani rupees every day. For all my international viewers who do not understand the rupee economics, just understand that this is an enormous figure. In 2018, every Pakistani was under an average debt of 114,000 in Pakistani rupees, but today in 2021 every Pakistani is under a debt of 235,000 Pakistani rupees. That's more than double in less than 3 years. But still, this guy Javed Bajwa, the army chief of Pakistan, who is actually the in charge of the country, wants to support Taliban instead of helping his own people. Javed having a big nose is not an issue, but using that nasty nose to poke other countries is a major issue. Stop training and sending terrorists to countries like India, UK and US. And Javed Bajwa, the country's actual power center with the puppet prime minister, can't stop criticizing IMF, despite the fact that IMF is so generous that it has awarded Pakistan its 13th bailout. A bailout is an injection of funds into a system that would otherwise face instant collapse. And Pakistan's biggest problem is that they are taking hefty loans to repay their previous loans and its interest payment. And this process of taking loans to repay loans creates a vicious cycle in the Pakistani economy, because of which the civilians of Pakistan who are at no fault are suffering. Pakistan is also under a potential balance of payment crisis. When a country is unable to pay the bills generated by importing goods or unable to repay the external debt, a BOP crisis occurs. Pakistan imports the majority of its domestic goods, leaving it more sensitive to economic pressure. Rising debt repayment have complicated the problem. Muslim Aslam, a spokesperson from the Imran Khan government, said that Pakistan was expecting to raise 7 billion from 3 sources over the next 60 days, including 3 billion in deposits from Saudi Arabia, a 1.2 billion from Saudi oil facility with deferred payments, and another 800 million from Islamic Development Bank oil facility. But keep this in mind, the loan agreement with Saudi Arabia comes with highly harsh terms, including record high interest payment of nearly 4%. Is Saudi Arabia the new China? 4% interest rate? Oh lord. And limitations on Pakistan's legal options against Saudis. And as the spokesperson Aslam claimed 7 billion over the next 60 days, but this is just over 5 billion. And I couldn't find any reliable source showing the way to the other 2 billion. Or maybe the spokesperson was just a fabricator so that he could send a message of peace for the Pakistani stock market. People are suffering to buy daily items. People can't afford innerwears in Pakistan. Pakistan's record inflation is driving up the cost of daily necessities as anger grows between the Pakistanis. In November, headline inflation increased to 11.5%, up from 9.2% in October. Headline inflation means the measure of total inflation in an economy, which includes prices for food and energy. Since mid-2019, annual food inflation has been in double digits. in most months, reaching as high as 23.6%. And due to this, the health of innocent Pakistani civilians is also getting worse. According to the chairperson of the Consumer Association of Pakistan, Kaukab Iqbal, the rising prices of food items, particularly fresh fruits, milk and chicken, are having a major impact on the livelihoods and nutrition levels of all families. But much of the burden of this falls on the poor, as high prices put protein and vitamin-rich food out of their reach. This is why I hate people like the Army General Bajwa. Shut down the terror factories and stop buying AK-47s for Talibanis and other terrorist groups, and look after your people. They are suffering. They do not even have enough nutritious food. Chicken is 118% more expensive than in 2018, while eggs and milk prices are 71% and 33% higher. Vegetable costs have doubled. Pulses and wheat prices have shot up by 83% and 59% respectively. With a 79% price hike, sugar cost more than petrol. Recently, Shaukat Tareen, Pakistan's finance minister, promised to take few additional steps like eliminating tax exemptions and subsidies, raising the oil and natural gas tax, and raising electricity tariffs. But all of these actions will directly hurt the pockets of Pakistani civilians. According to a World Bank research prepared by Daud Khan, Islamabad has systematically discouraged the manufacturing of high-value items by focusing support on wheat and sugarcane only. As a result, Pakistan continues to import agriculture items, dairy products, and cotton to support the domestic textile, despite having a large number of animals with producing potential. Imran Khan, aka the puppet prime minister, whose political rise was founded on the promise of Naya Pakistan in Hindi or Urdu or New Pakistan, appears to be falling short. The country is currently experiencing its worst economic crisis in history. In a recent report, the World Bank noted that Pakistan joined the list of top 10 countries with the largest foreign debt. The credit rating agencies across the globe may further downgrade the country's ranking. So generating funds through the insurance of international bonds will become expensive. Imran Khan has also complained about the bad tax system. And this is what I have been saying all the time. It's a vicious cycle. In Pakistan, businesses talk about paying too much in taxes. Government talks about not being able to collect any taxes. This chart shows the historical performance of government revenues, expenditure, and deficit in Pakistan. And deficit means the amount by which the money you receive is less than the money you have spent. Massive tax evasion is enabled by a large informal sector and lack of regulations. Another major problem is that Pakistan's import outweighs the exports by a huge number, and this leads to an excess of supply of the country's currency in foreign exchange market, which eventually drives down the currency's value. The Pakistani rupee keeps tumbling against the US dollar, currently sitting at 176 against $1 US. For a government to run a country's economy, they have to spend on social welfare, which means allocating a good amount of budget to healthcare, education, and other welfare schemes. But currently, the social welfare part is nowhere to be seen in Pakistan's economy. Developed nations, especially the Nordic countries such as Iceland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland, allocate a huge portion of their budget for social welfare. And now the condition is so bad that the IMF is making economic policies for Pakistan. They are telling the Pakistani government about what to do, how to do, and what should be the tax rates. And all that economic stuff that the Pakistani government and its army don't know peanuts about. Aggressive increasing of revenue by collecting tax currently seems to be the only option available with the Pakistani government. But sadly, because of that, civilians of Pakistan will suffer more.